What's going on, y'all? What's the word? What's the deal? Pickle is everything kosher. Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. So, first of all, I'm very ticked off that time has went up an hour. Y'all know I don't get it. I don't get rest as it is. So now we pushing the time forward. So that's another hour of sleep gone from your boy, for real. And it speeds up my time that I got to get to work tonight, right? But in the meantime, in between time, the Ti and 50 Cent in the Harris family versus 50 Cent, the saga continues. Okay. Um, Sometimes I want to say this is gonna be the last time I talk about it, but things keep unfolding in the saga, right? Particularly, the Harris family is not letting up. They trying to send a message loud and clear to Curtis Jackson about playing with their family and disrespecting them in any type of way, right? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, King Harris, the second youngest son of Clifford Harris, aka Tip, aka Ti, right? King has put Miss Jackson, Sabrina Jackson's face. Sabrina Jackson is 50 Cent's mother. He puts a picture of his mother on packaging for weed, right? Basically saying he's smoking on that Miss Jackson pack. He's smoking on that Sabrina Jackson pack. And he's sitting there posted up with a picture of Sabrina Jackson on the weed, right? Um, Jethro, you be the first one in here talking about it. I mean, you mad that I'm talking about it, but you come in here expeditiously to talk about it, Jethro. I'm glad you up in here, Jethro. You know? So yeah, he puts Sabrina Jackson's face on the weed, right? And a lot of people like, damn, that's pretty dark. It's pretty dark. Is it going too far? Is it too far? Now, again, I'm the type of person when I have an issue with you, I'm not going to disrespect your mother, right? Even though in this instance, Curtis Jackson was disrespecting King's mother by putting up a picture of her trying to be inflammatory towards her. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Black Mall. If it go left, it go left, bro. Curtis Jackson is a man who made fun of. If it go left, it go left, and I think King understands that. Truthfully, right? Curtis Jackson made fun of Irv Gotti's father, clowning Irv Gotti's father when Irv ain't have shit. Irv Gotti's father ain't got shit to do with they beef, right? So I think King understands that all the bullshit come with it, right? Uh, and that's cool. We know what 50 willing to go. That's cool. And I don't know him. And I think King understands where it could go. And I think he's perfectly fine with that. T.I. don't want it to go to T.I. don't want it to go to that level. But at the same time, he's saying openly he don't want his son to go this far. But his son is honest. Obviously, I think he's willing for it to go that far, right? And I can't say what's in his mind and in his brain, how far he's willing to go. Okay, right? So this is the thing, though, because now again, I wouldn't diss somebody's deceased mother, but again, I understand when you diss somebody else's mother, you can't dictate how they talk about your mama in return. Um, we can't dictate how that happens with how somebody talks about your mother in return. You can't dictate that. If you try to clown their mama, they gonna probably try to clown your mama, even if she's deceased or not. Like, I mean, if she's alive, or deceased, they gonna do the same thing. They gonna try to clown and go to hell about your mama as well, right? And that's how things unfold sometimes, right? And again, King, he doing what he want to do. Unfortunately, like I said, Tip say that's too far. Tip keeping it between him and 50, right? He not going 50 route by including any. Well, he did talk about Daphne Joy, but he didn't talk about 50's mother or nothing like that, right? But he did talk about Daphne Joy. He did. Um, but at the same time, like, he don't want his sons to do that. And he's expressed that. But sometimes, bro, when a kid is not in your household no more, they living on their own. They got their own family now. He got a son now. Sometimes they gonna do what they want to do, especially when you involve their mother. You talk about their mama, they gonna talk about yours. And this is really a play out of Curtis Jackson's own book. Curtis Jackson do this shit all the time. He takes it to hell with people all the time, right? Even when it's not even when it's uncalled for, right? So King is, again, I think he's willing for it to go to this route. Black Maul, it don't matter if he call her, he gotta call her little sex worker, bro. He gotta call her that. He gotta cope. It's a dig at 50 because it's a woman he had a baby with. A woman that was the apple of his eye. You seen them pictures on the beach. We not gonna get, we not doing that. He gotta call her little sex worker. He gotta do that to save face. We ain't talking about it's a dig. It is a dig at 50. You saw them pictures of him on the beach taking pictures of her. The man got on camera and told the world, I plan to have a child with this woman. He planned to have a child with a woman who's willing to be his fifth concubine. So willing to be Diddy's concubine versus be with him. Right? So, like, yeah. So I don't care if I know him or not. You seen that when you see a man on a beach smiling like that, taking pictures of a woman, 50 was taking pictures smiling. I don't care if I know him or not. He talk about, yeah, he can talk about that woman in disrespectful manner all he won't. He still got a baby with her and he planned to have a child with her. I don't care nothing. That don't mean nothing. He had a baby with and planned it. It wasn't like it was an accident. He planned to have a child with that woman. What man you know planned to have a child with a pass around Bob? Most men they don't plan it for the most part, especially a man of his resources, of his stature, of his ignorance. He ain't playing that. He gotta talk about it disrespectfully now. What he gonna do? You know what I'm saying? He gotta do that. Man, it's all like, yeah. I don't care. He can talk about it. He gotta do that now. I would do that if I was 50. I would talk about it like that. What can you do? So, like, yeah, the man planned and said it out of his mouth. I plan to have a child with her. So it is a dig at him. He can act like he unbothered all he wants to. No man strategically plans to have a seed with a woman he knows is out here just willy-nilly, just sleeping with everybody and out here just letting everybody just get in especially a man of that magnitude. So yeah, man. So now what I was basically saying was that, King put a picture of Sabrina Jackson on the cover on Weed. Man, bro, you just said 50 ain't catching a body over Daphne. Black Maul, you just told me I speak in absolutes. Just like I don't know him, you don't know him either. So that applies to you in this situation. You just said I don't know him, so I shouldn't be saying it. You don't know him either. So I don't know what he gonna catch a body over. You feel me? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We don't know him. We don't know what he gonna do. All I know is I saw a man on the beach taking pictures of a woman. You know what I'm saying? And it looked like he was enamored with her and he had a seed with her. So yeah, I do think he cares about that. And he can act like he's a robot and he ain't got no feelings. It's okay to have feelings like that. You know what I'm saying? It's all right to have feelings about those things. It hurt knowing, I'm sure it do hurt. Like knowing, damn, I took this chick and made her my old lady. Now she out here doing whatever with my enemies. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but again, back to the point of crazed out over Daphne. Who has fifth crazed out over Daphne with? Sean P. Diddy Combs. I don't care what nobody say. I think he did that damn documentary. He always threw shots at Diddy and he always clowned Diddy. But I think the extra ammo, the extra animus to do that, to have that documentary, to create a document or to have a documentary put out, was due to what happened with Daphne Joy. with the apple of his eye going over there with his enemy, right? Now, some would say, is King going too far? Like I said, it's not something I would do, but you can't dictate how somebody responds to you posting up their mother, trying to clown their mom, right? Unfortunately, you put your mother in direct line of fire when you talk about someone else's mom, right? So, yeah, he going places, King going somewhere I wouldn't go with it, right? But at the same time, you can't control how somebody responds to you trying to clown their mama out. Now, all 50 Cent fans always say he just put a picture up. But you know, if 50 puts up a picture of a woman, he's trying to demean her and clown her. Same way he put up an unflattering picture of Clarissa Shields, right? And he tried to put up a picture of Clarissa and make fun of Clarissa, trying to clown her and how she looked and all of that shit. And for me, I thought that shit was very distasteful and tacky, especially being that Fifth don't never talk like this about white women, right? And Clarissa in particular is like, I thought that was really clown down. He put up an unflattering picture of Clarissa, you know, an unflattering picture of Clarissa to make fun of her and belittle her, you know, and everybody laughed at it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So when he put up a picture of Tiny, he was doing that to make fun of her and clown her for his audience to laugh at and joke about. King understood that. Tip understood that. Damani understood that, right? We all understand that. People that act like they don't understand that they plan what I'm saying is if they acting like they don't understand that, that's trying to gaslight other people, you know? Um Bro, if he go take it there, bro, it go there, Jethro. It's if it go there, it go there. You don't have to hear none of that from me. If it go there, it go there. Right? Jethro, if it go to that point, it go to that point. Right? All this cheering, egg and king on. See, y'all want again. You're not gonna find. Unfortunately, 50 does this all the time. So it's gonna look crazy for people to act like 50 to act like we people. Unfortunately, I don't get down like this. But nobody asks 50 Cent to have morals with anybody. Nobody asks him to have morals with anybody. He can talk about Irv Gotti's dead father and talk shit about Irv Gotti's deceased father like crazy, even though him and Irv's father had nothing to do with him and Irv Gotti's beef. Fifth can laugh and clown Irv Gotti's father dying. And Jethro, you will let that shit be. That's okay with you, right? So I think when other people are gonna look at this like, wow, how convenient. How convenient. Um, 50's fan base is requiring somebody else to have morals, which is crazy, right? Because he never has morals with anything. I'm like Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark, shout out to the news. Yo to the news. Ryan Clark say, man, look, I don't know. I could never be his friend. I wouldn't trust that man as far as I can throw, and I couldn't either. Because if I let him in certain parts of information about me, like let me tell you something. Y'all know my son, right? My son has autism. I could never be friends with 50 because he might be subject to talk about my son when me and him got a beef. And when he do that, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to respond just like King and take it to hell, to the deepest depths of hell. Because at that point, all bets are off, right? Right? Fifth is, I can't say Curtis 50 Cent Jackson wouldn't do that to me, right? He wouldn't do that to me. And I ain't never been no street dude or no gangster. But for my kids, I will be as gangster as I gotta be for them. For them, I will be as gangster as I gotta be to protect them. You know what I'm saying? Black Mall. I don't care if it's suburb or not. I know you hit a point I'm making, no Black Mall, right? You see my little son in that room, my little son has autism. I know if me and 50 ever got into it and we friends, right? And we friends, right? I know that man might be subject to talk about my son. And when you talk about my son or my daughter, I'm going to go to hell about it. I ain't never been a street dude or a gangster. But for them kids that you see in these videos bopping around here, I will go get as gangster as I gotta be for them. And that just is what it is, right? You feel what I'm saying? And then you bring up the suburban point. You know, I get it, right? You say, man, suburban kids ain't never been around this and the third. I'm being real, Joe. I didn't see some suburban kids in Chicago knock some niggas out. They didn't grow up in Inglewood. I didn't see that, right? I didn't see some kids living in Beverly area of Chicago knock motherfuckers out that grew up on the low end. It's just cause you know what I'm saying. I didn't see that. So you feel me? So again, I say, um. I say I wouldn't go where King is going. I wouldn't do that. But I can't tell a man how to respond to a man trying to clown his mama out. I can't. You know what I'm saying? Right? So I don't know if King can fight or not. I don't know what he prepared for, what he ready for. You see what I'm saying? You made the point about he's a suburban. I don't know what he ready for or not. You feel me? I don't know. We can watch some, but again, we can watch a kid grow up on TV all the time and then they can be something we never thought they were. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying King tough or not. I'm saying I don't know what he's prepared for and what he's not. I can't sit there and tell you he's not prepared for that. I don't know. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? You said King ain't never been in a fight. How do you know that, Jethro? You don't know that. I can't sit there with a straight face and tell you King ain't never been in a fight. I ain't been with King throughout his life. I ain't walked with him and been around him. You see what I'm saying? So we didn't watch kids grow up on TV and all of that, and then they turn out to do some crazy shit that we like, damn, I never thought they would do that. I never thought they would do that. Right? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. You know what I mean? Now you said, um, hold on, somebody said it needs to be Tip versus 50. Tip kids looking weird, stay in their league. Well, these are grown men, right? Damani's a grown man. 24. King is what, 21, right? So where I come from, that's grown. It's young, but it's grown. I once again tell you, right? Well, I once again tell you, I had my first child at 18 years old. Okay. So while I was still very young, I was still looked at as a man. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I can't tell King he shouldn't have got into nothing because that's his mama, right? Once his mama get brought up, I know how I am about my mom. Once his mama got brought up, hey, you feel me? He gonna respond a certain way. You know, he gonna respond a certain way once his mom got brought up in that situation, right? So yeah, man. You know, and to me though, it's just like so all that's gonna happen is if it goes far, all King's gonna do is go run into daddy. And if that happens, it happens, y'all. It happens, right? But in this situation, 50 didn't keep it on Tip. He went out of bounds and talked about Tiny and tried to line Tiny up to get clowned on. And when he went outside of just because I think if it stayed between Tip, if it stayed between Tip and it stayed between 50, I don't think the kids would have said anything. But when it traveled to Tiny, King's mama, Damani's stepmother, like a second mom to him, I think that's when shit went left. Cause like, hold on now, if you kept it between they pops, then all right. But once you talk about their mama, and I think King and Damani understands that 50 Cent's fan base is like a cult. I'm gonna say this: 50's fan base is a cult. They will take his side and trash and demean anybody. I saw motherfuckers praising what's the boy, Big Meech to heavens when he got out of jail, right? And to a point, I made a video like, damn, the glamorization of drug dealers is crazy. Because I saw people praising Big Meech, ready to kiss his feet and everything when he got out of jail. When Curtis Jackson went against Big Meech, That's when other men start calling Big Meech all type of hoes and bitches and all type of goofies and mother. Because 50 said it, right? Because 50 said it. So I think King and Damani understands that they're dealing with somebody who has a fan base that is very, very like cult-like. And so I felt like they wanted to defend the matriarch of the family when they saw that happen. You get what I'm saying? Um, Let me see this. You are of it, and you know that, man. You're truly nah. I mean, you can address people. It just come with consequences, bro. It come with consequences, and some men are really, really are willing to go to that level. In the hood or not, it's some men that don't care about a chain of command. They're ready to kill and die about their parents or the people they love, right? And in Chicago, especially now, some dudes don't be caring about chain of command a lot of times. Even the biggest hitters get hit up here. And that's not a badge of honor or anything like that. Even the biggest killers in Chicago get touched. They can get touched too. And I'm not saying King gonna do nothing to nobody, but what I'm saying is, right? It's not a like it's people that's willing to go wherever any route and go to whatever level. You know what I'm saying? So some random street dude, bro, Vaughn and them had dudes shooting at them all the time, bro. Like people wasn't just gonna touch Vaughn because he was Vaughn, unfortunately. You see what I'm saying? Like that in Chicago, like is nobody's a bigger than like nobody's untouchable here. And that's the point I'm trying to make in Chicago. Vaughn could have went somewhere and somebody could have did something to him just because, right? Because they know he was dissing their cousin or their family member, right? Like in Chicago, again, it might be consequences to that, but like, yeah, anything is bound to happen to anybody here. That's why when Steven Jackson, he got killed in Georgia, but you know people were shooting at him in Chicago too, right? Black Mall. Like nobody was not just shooting. Nobody was not fun. Like you see, like Vaughn had a lot of deceased friends, right? Vaughn was in them groups when that stuff was happening, right? So it could have happened in Chicago too. Like that don't prevent just because you here, like just because you got a reputation, that don't stop nothing here. That's why when Steven Jackson went to go check in O Block, people in Chicago looked at it like it was silly because nobody is guaranteed 100% protection from being with one person here because there's a lot of outlaws that live here. And I'm not trying to, when I say I'm not glorifying streets, I'm not a street dude by any means at all. But I've lived here long enough to know that outlaws, there are a lot of people who live by their own rules here. And even the biggest dudes here, that nobody's untouchable, which is why when Steven Jackson went to check in, dudes like, bro, like, nobody's guaranteed safety here. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is, no matter who you with, right? And it just is what it is, man. Hey, James Kelly, man, I appreciate that donation on Cash App, bro. That mean a whole lot to me, bro. I appreciate that, boss. Thank you for looking out, brother. Me and my family both appreciate it. But the facts, Stack Jack knew who to talk to, said something. He only knew because of the rap, bro. Because of rap music. Vaughn wasn't there when he went to go over there. He checked in with some young shorties. You feel me? That was like 17, 18. You know what I mean? So he know because of rap music and all of that type of stuff too. But you know, but there was some kids he checked in with. Like, now granted, kids could do stuff to you too. So I'm not discrediting, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, kids can do things to you too. A lot of these young shorties at 15, 16 in Chicago wilding out too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So what my point of saying this, I'm looking at all y'all comments too. My fault. What up, y'all? But yeah, I think though, in the whole grand scheme of things, a lot of this stuff wouldn't have went to where it went to if 50 would have just focused on Tip and not said anything about Tiny. right? It could have just stayed where it was. But 50 wanted to antagonize Tip in a different way. He really wanted to poke at him in a different way. So he wanted to make fun of his wife. And then he went too far initially, right? By posting a picture of Tiny, right? He went too far initially. And then now you see everything else is a trickle down effect from that. It's a trickle down effect from that. You know what I'm saying? I had something in my mind, so it just went out of my mind really, really quickly. Um, so I think, like I said, I wouldn't go this far, but again, I can't dictate. Once you bring up somebody's mama and try to embarrass them and clown them out, I can't dictate how somebody else responds, right? You know, now because again, he didn't brought up. He said Tip had Tiny eating every vagina in Atlanta and all of that, and King took exception to that as well. So and now it keeps going. Said 50 hurts people's families and friends over petty beefs with others. Correct. And when I watched Ryan Clark talk about it, I agree with Ryan. Ryan was like, Ryan said I could never be friends with him. Because at any level, any point when we have some type of misunderstanding, he's bound to go to a place that it doesn't need to go to. All because he's upset about something. Right. And for me, as a man, I know I couldn't be his friend either because I got to protect my family and my peace. I got to protect my people around me, which includes my children. And you know what I'm saying? And I can't, you willing to talk crazy about my children and all that. And 50 is not above talking crazy. 50 will talk crazy about people's kids. He will. He's not above that. I don't think he's above that at all. I think he will do that. And when I know you capable of doing some shit like that, yeah, I can't have you around me at all. You can't even be, nope, nope, cannot risk it. Because at that point, I know me, I'm a very level headed person, a very chilled, mild mannered individual. But when it comes to my children, yeah, I might do something. I might get to an irrational level. I might engage and I might start talking crazy, and maybe even outside of me. But when it comes to my kids, it ain't outside of me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know for them, I'm willing to go to the highest level it has to go to for them, right? Because if I, as a man, don't defend my children, then who am I going to defend? You see what I'm saying? So, and like I said, oh, you're right. Sabbatical Queen, he has. 50 did talk about Lil Kim's daughter. I forgot about that. Thank you for bringing that up, Sabbatical Queen. So my point stands. This is a man who will talk about innocent children, right? So to me, it's funny though, because again, I wouldn't go to where King is going, but a lot of 50 fanatics, 50 fans are questioning the morals of King, right? And saying that King, or he's like trying to make 50 the moral compass of everything, or they're trying to show morality when 50 has no morals. He talked about an innocent child, which all of this stems from the fact that Lil Kim didn't want to go on a date with 50. She didn't want to go on a date with him. He got so motherfucking mad. He didn't want to come to the video shoot, the Magic Stick video shoot. He didn't want to shoot a video or nothing. And they've been in this intense back and forth because she turned him down because she had a boyfriend. And Fifth got mad about it. You see shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Sabbatical Queen say, Lil Kim posted that, say 50 posted that baby and had his stands bully the baby about her looks. These nut gaggers just talking to hear themselves talk. He has no damn morals whatsoever. Correct. So yes, anytime a man is willing to line up a child to be talked about by their fan base, this is very Nicki Minaj like. This is very, very. This is some crazy. This is weird ass shit. That's weird ass territory. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So yeah. So it is. You know, it's weird. It's very weird territory. So for fifth fans to be demanding morals from somebody, it's very crazy. I forgot about that. Truthfully. Um. And later on, too, I got to talk about Netflix and the Breakfast Club whole deal with Netflix. Like, that's crazy. Because, yeah, I'm going to talk about that on another live stream later on before I go to work. But yeah, not true, Sabbatical Queen. 50 can talk about a 7-year-old baby, but grown men got to draw the line about his mom, which that's an absolute great point. Because I never even seen it when he talked about Lil Kim's. I never saw that, right? I believe y'all. But talking about a child, that's repulsive to me. That's despicable, right? Like I would never do that, right? I would never talk about nobody's child when I got beef with them. I never saw it. I never saw it, Charlie, for real. I don't know where I was at, but I never saw when he posted that about Lil Kim's daughter. You know, I never seen him post that about Lil Kim's daughter. Sabbatical Queen said that's when I lost respect for him. That was the final line for me. Yeah, me who I am as a person, I could never talk about somebody's child, right? Like a little kid. Now, 50 just posted a video of Peppa and Tretch's daughter getting knocked out in a fight. And he made sure everybody knows this is Peppa and Tretch's daughter that got knocked out like this, right? So I know Tretch is going to be on Instagram and social media going crazy, going ballistic. You know what I'm saying? Tretch and her daughter grown, right? But, and she was in a fight. And he talking about her getting knocked out in a fight. All right, whatever. He's trying to clown her, but whatever. But a child, though, an innocent child, I can never do that. I can never. And I can never co-sign a person who does that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I can never co-sign a person who talks about children. You know? He posted this up last night. So Tretch and Pepper's daughter was in a boxing match against some world champion type kickboxer or something like that. And she got knocked out in the fight. He posted this like last night. So last night or the night before last. I think last night. And he was like, he put in the caption, this Pepper and Tretch daughter. He want everybody to know that. So I can imagine Tretch finna be all on Instagram talking crazy. You feel me? Black Mall, knock it off. Making fun of a child is cool where you come from. As a grown man, hey, 50 years old, knock it off, bro. A 50-year-old grown man, that shit is acceptable to you? Talk, like, when we're kids talking about when we're all kids, bro, that's different. When we're all kids and we talk about it, yo, your mama do this, your mama sucked it. We're kids doing that, bro. He's a grown ass man. Well, you can't compare us when we little kids. You know what I'm saying? No, I like to argue though. Travel. I do this shit for. I like the sport of people rebuttaling against me. Right? When we're kids, we gonna talk crazy. You feel me? Yeah. So when we're kids, we're doing it. A 50-year-old man should never be talking about a child. That's how brothers die. I'm being real. That's how brothers die in the hood. Oh, shit like that. And like, men will kill you about their children. Literally. And I can't blame them about that. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, it's bad that that happens. But what? What? Like, men will kill you about their babies. Bro, teasing your son. I'm talking about a 7-year-old kid, bro, calling him, trying to make fun of you. Ain't do no shit like that. Don't even get on here doing that. Teasing them and trying to talk about a child's looks for your fan base to belittle a baby is despicable, bro. You know the difference. Stop on here playing coy and playing silly. Don't do that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That is completely different. Don't stop being on here trying to gaslight people. Stop doing it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Teasing kids, being a little funny, little teasing, but trying to make fun of a 7-year-old child's looks is despicable. I don't have to call you ugly. Man, bro, you know what I'm talking about, bro. You know what I'm talking about. That shit is despicable. It's corny as fuck coming from 50. He's a cornball. You feel me? And again, we know niggas, dudes will kill about their kids. Kill. So like, yeah, bro, zero. I'm from the hood. Things are off limits here. Things are off limits. And if they tell you that, they lying. I grew up on Southside Chicago, Illinois. You play with another man's kids, he liable to shoot you here. I like, again, that ain't no. Playing with another man's, mocking an innocent child, he's liable to kill you. I grew up in the hood every day of my life, Southside till I die. I'm talking about from the low end to the wild hundreds, everywhere. It's rules in the hood regardless. Then, like, again, certain shit is off limits. Off limits. It is. And everything is not okay in the hood. We not finna act like that. And again, I just told y'all, it's certain dudes that's untouchable in Chicago. Hey, cuz, what's going on? In Chicago, you get to talking about somebody's kids. They're liable to kill you here. I'm just telling you that right now. Especially if their child got some type of disability or something like that, they liable to go there with you. And logic, because when you talk about people's children, logic leaves. All they see is red. You playing with my child, I'm willing to go to wherever it gotta go. We not gonna act like is not rules in the hood. Yes, there are. Yes, there are rules in the hood. And this is coming from somebody. I ain't just live in one hood in Chicago. I live in the hundreds. I done lived on the low end. I done lived in Inglewood. I done lived in Bronzeville. I went to projects every single day for 2 years straight because my auntie was babysitting us in the Robert Taylors. You feel me? So come on, man. Yeah, that is not anything just don't fly in the hood, bro. That's incorrect, bro. It's certain rules, certain things, certain boundaries should not be crossed. And we all know that as people and as men. And that's why when men say certain things about people, children, or about something, they prepare themselves for what could possibly come next. Especially depending on who you talking to when you say that. You know what I'm saying? So we can say, oh, all is fair, and it's not all is fair. It's not all is not fair in the hood, bro. There's boundaries to everything. You know what I'm saying? The kids might make fun of you or whatever, but as an adult, an adult should have the wherewithal to say, I'm not gonna be talking about this little kid, at least publicly. Publicly, you might say shit in your house or whatever, but publicly saying things about somebody's child, you know what could come with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, because I'm telling you right now, my father, we get on kids, parents, and that's cool with DC. I'm telling you right now, my daddy was liable to kill you. You play with us like that. I'm gonna tell you right now, my father is an old man right now. You say something about that boy in that room right there, my son in that room, he's liable to kill you, even in his old age, literally, right? So, you know what I'm saying? It just and people can do that all they want to. Here though, I'm telling you right now, you say certain things in private. right? Let you walk up on somebody and call somebody, yeah, you're right. I had my father, right? But that man, I'm telling you right now, my father's an old man. An old man. You say something about his grandkids, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter if you on the hood, if you in the hood doing it. My father's liable to kill somebody for that. My father, again, is a cool brother. He's a cool brother, right? But if you play with his grandkids, I'm gonna be real with you right now. My father's liable to kill you about me. And I'm a grown man, right? But that's already considering that he already lost one son many years ago. My brother got killed when he was 19 years old. You feel me? Off away in college, he got killed. Considering what my father already went through with the loss of a child, you play with me. I'm 33 years old. He's liable to kill you then. I'm just telling you right now, just because he's already been through a lot of trauma with losing a son already. See what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just not like, and I didn't say the K word a lot in this video, but yeah, I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, my brother had his life taken from him at 19 years old, you know? So considering that, I remember when after my brother had his life taken from him. I remember I was 14, right? I got jumped by 4 dudes. I'm 14, I got jumped by 4. I didn't even see it coming, right? And my father came because after all that happened, the police got called because I went to go pick up my little sister from the park district, right? And the park district people seen my eye was cut open, right? And my dad, the police came, my dad flew over there, my mama flew over there. And the way my father told my mother, I will never let this happen to him again. I will never let this happen to him again, right? The way he told her that, I knew he meant that. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, my point is this is not even about me and my father and my brother. My point is saying that you can't assume you get to be playing with people's kids and you just and it's gonna just be whatever. You know what I'm saying? You call somebody child. If somebody has a child that's disabled, and you tell them you got an R word, your R word child, your child is the R word, whatever. You say that to somebody about their child, they might snap your neck, bro. I'm not even lying to you. You feel me? You say that, you should know, and everybody know that, man. Everybody know that. So it's consequence. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Corey. There are consequences for reactions, right? And I just think that children are off limits. When you say certain things about people's children, you have to be prepared to know that certain things are gonna come from that. Everybody not gonna say that's just a joke and they just playing. You gotta know that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the dude that did it went to jail and all that type of stuff too. You feel me? They did. But from what all of that will never change the hurt that happened to my family after that. You know what I'm saying? After that happened, yeah, my family went through a lot of hurt from that. I had never seen my father cry to the day my brother had his life taken from him. And at that point, my father had lost his own father, and he had lost both of his brothers at that point. Right now, I was alive to go to both of my uncle's funerals. Right, and my father was hurting when his brothers passed. But the first time I seen my father uncontrollably cry to the point of like, I seen my father cry like a baby when something happened to my brother. You know what I'm saying? And I will never forget that, because my father's a big 6'3" black man, right? And, hard nosed James Evans type. But when something happened to my brother, I seen him crying away. I will never forget that. I will never forget that. You know what I'm saying? So I said it to say, we already lose a child too that do something else to you. But yeah, but me knowing that 50 talked about a child, that let me know what type of person he is, how he get out. Right? And I'm like Ryan Clark. I could never closely associate with somebody like that. Cause I like at that point, you're gonna put me in a position to where I don't like. I never want to be a crash out. I always want to be here for my kids and all of that. But some people understand that if I'm friends with this person, when we fall out, they might put me in a position to want to just go off the ledge and go crazy. And I'm not going to put myself in that position by being close to you or being your friend in no way because I don't got time for that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Now back to my original point was that like exactly. Jay-Z will never forgive Kanye West. That's a great point, Chris, and he shouldn't. Because once you call my children the R word and you make fun of my babies on a public platform with your big ass fan base, great point, Chris. Jay-Z will never shake hands with Kanye. He will never be in Kanye's he will never be in the same room with him anymore. And I understand that as a father. I will never, that man will never come around me. That man will never ever have to like he could never be my friend. We will never have nothing to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So yeah, it just I can never justify exactly. I can never justify that type of ignorance. You know, because Kanye know what he was doing, and Jay ain't never gonna be cool with him ever, and I don't ever expect him to, because I would. For you to go out here and talk about my babies like that, you didn't been around. Probably Kanye probably didn't been around their kids. All didn't probably play with their kids, and now you're gonna try. You're gonna talk like you're gonna talk about my babies and how your fan base potentially laughing at you talking about my children. No go, no go. You gotta keep your ass over there, cause I might be bound to do something. And it could be laughable to him, Black Mall. It could be laughable. I'm sure it's again, when you survive something like that, everything becomes laughable to you. It does. It does. Right. But at the same time, you gotta understand you can't play with everybody like that. Right? Um, King probably won't be the one to do nothing to him. But things come to people when they act a certain way. For example, like, man, some dudes in Chicago that was some of the biggest gangsters you could ever imagine. They did some of the most street stuff they ever could do to people. And eventually something happened to them. Right? So, yeah, like, you know, I don't think 50 cares about any of this because he survived a lot. When he survived something like that, yeah. You don't have a care in the world. 50 is a sociopathic person. He's very sociopathic. He's a sociopath. So he does not care. But just because you're a sociopath does not mean that you're exempt from things happening to you as well. That somebody at some point gonna be like, yo, I'm tired of this shit. You know what I'm saying? And may go to crazy type of levels. You know, even when you rich and you got money and all of that. So yeah, you know, and that's the reality. Because if we're gonna talk about a Chicago person, let's talk about it. I try not to talk about Chicago street politics on here because I'm living in Chicago to this day. King Von had a known reputation and for doing a lot of stuff to people. A lot of stuff to people, right? I mean that's true. And that's true. You could be, I mean, Alpo lived for a long time when he got out of jail, Black Mall. Everybody knew he snitched on people and all of that. He lived for a long time. But yeah, like, so like, yeah, King Von was been into a lot of notable street wars. But at the end of the day, there are people who are willing to do certain things to go certain levels, even when you have a known reputation. Is my point, you know? Cause in Alpo mind, Alpo thought, man, they know these dudes know I'm still on that type of time. Cause even when people know you snitched on people, if they know you would take somebody's life, they still be hesitant to just say certain stuff to you because they know, yeah, you told on people, but they know you would do certain things to people. But at the end of the day, unfortunately for Alpo, um, karma was returned to him eventually, eventually. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just the way I choose to live my life, I would never talk about people's children. I ain't gonna talk about your old lady if I got an issue with you. I just wasn't raised like that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't raised like that. Like I keep saying, yeah. Sad man trying to tell everybody who got shot 9 times about kids, babies, and wives too far. Us people that got shot more times than 50, and still was like, yo, I need to cool out. So I mean, I hear you. You can. It might be hard to him. He might not take heed to it. But there's people that been shot more times than him that survived and still like, man, you know what? Let me be cool. you know, that's true. Money does not make you a better person. It just again, it makes your living situation better, and you're able to do everything you want to do because you now have resources to do so. So that's very true quote. 50 always been like this. But now he has the money and resources to really, really get out how he want to get out. You know? That what's the point of talking about children for? Some men want to make other men mad, really upset. They want to be very salacious. They want to be very inflammatory. They want to be very disrespectful. And they feel like the most disrespectful they can go is talk about your children. Right? So yeah. To me, that's corny though. That's lame as hell to me. That's clowned out. I don't respect it. You know? Say my father got shot more times than 50 and still alive to talk about it. yeah. You know? So yeah, sometimes you can get shot a lot of times and then be like, man, I should have cooled out, bro. That's a little too far. That went too crazy. You know what I'm saying? That went somewhere it ain't even have to go. Um, who said 50 just dumb, fam? Yeah. Sabbatical Queen say my brother got shot 7 times. Ain't shit. Ain't shit unique about Firebug story. He said that ain't unique. Yeah, man. I don't either. I don't respect nobody that talk about an innocent child. I ain't cut from that type of cloth. And if my friend, if one of my homies was on that, I'd get on his ass too. 'Cause you know what I'm saying? Kids ain't gotta do nothing. Ain't got nothing to do with nobody. Nor do like he said, hold on. Said 50 acts like a teenage high school girl. He very childish, man. Very childish. You know what I'm saying? Like, very, very childish and moves in a way that I, again, and maybe because I had an old, like, again, I had an old soul because of the people I grew up around. I wasn't acting like this when I was 15. You know what I'm saying? But again, my friends used to call me the father of our friend group because they used to say I was very mature when I was 14, 15. But I just, certain stuff I just ain't gonna do. You know? He called 50 Cent a mean girl or a gossip girl. Said pop something. Yeah, that's what they used to call me. They'd be like, Mac, you the daddy of the friend group. And that just, I think that's, it came from me having an older father. So I had a lot of like characteristics of him. I was around, again, my father, he was with me a lot. I used to be with him and his friends a lot. So like a lot of stuff I learned from him. Um, and stuff about hygiene, stuff about life, handling myself with other, how to respond to how to interact with other men. You know what I mean? He taught me a lot about that type of stuff too. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can agree that when something, you get stabbed, you get shot, you get jumped, it does change you. I mean, significantly, it made me more of an aware person when I got jumped when I was 14. Because at that point, I let me know, like, I'm gonna say this too, man. When I knew Chicago, I knew what Chicago was when I was coming up, but it becomes a certain time. Again, inner city Chicago is different from like downtown and all of that. Um, I started to see Chicago inner city for what it was when I started traveling, going to school on my own. You know what I'm saying? I got to high school. I'm on a bus, riding the bus all the way from over east, all the way to the Hundreds to go to high school. You know, I'm outside by myself. So now I'm running into shit like where nobody around me to like stop something if it go on for real. My mama ain't with me, my father not with me, my cousins and them not with me, none of that. You know? Sabbatical Queen ain't going. When you get violated, period, it changes you. And that still doesn't make Firebug story. Ah, I hear you. I hear you. Kids without fire confused. You have to explain to Wayne Wade what's going on in the situation because I see confusion. I had order and he's there. I mean, yeah, there are. I mean, there are men. There are people who have fathers that go their own path, even when they got certain direction, right? Because I knew people. I believe it or not, I knew some dudes that was in the streets. They had their father right in the house with them. You know what I'm saying? And their fathers was not street dudes. And I seen them wilding out, and they had two parents in the household. So like, not necessarily having a father all the time does not stop certain things, but having a right father, an active father, a present father, it can definitely help in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? I can say for me, I never wanted to be a street dude because my father wasn't. You know what I'm saying? He was a hustler. He got his hustle on with the cable business. You feel me? Doing his own, had his own cable company, you know, but he wasn't a criminal. So I never wanted to be a criminal because my father wasn't that. You know what I mean? And I was with my dad a lot. So I wanted to be like him. My dad liked to put on suits. He liked to wear cologne. I like to put on suits. I like to wear cologne. My dad liked jewelry. I like jewelry. My dad he was big on hygiene. I wanted to be big on hygiene like him. Right? Um yeah, so it kind of So I will say that it shaped me in a lot of ways, having a father I had. I will say that. Now I agree with you on that front. Sabbatical Queen. I know people who went through a lot of crazy. Just people. I know people that went through stuff just as crazy as 50. Just as crazy, right? My own cousins, and they were able to understand that certain ignorant stuff got to be left in the past. Certain stuff got to be left alone. Certain ignorant shit should not continue. So I agree with you on that front. 100% agree with you on that. So yeah, you say I'm not backing down. Ain't Ishi been through that's unique or exclusive to him? People just throwing excuses at the wall to see what sticks to justify his ignorance at his AARP age. You say he's too old for this all this and 50 even said that in one of his songs. Was that You Not Like Me? He said, you too old for this shit, dog. Won't you stop it? Um, I think past trauma does matter, but Black Maul, the point is, he's 50 years old and he has all the resources necessary to get help with all the trauma he's been through. He can go to therapy, all of that. He got all the money to do all those things. And so it's not an excuse for him. And when we get older, we can do something about the trauma that we've been through. When you get older, and I've had people that been through my family members, some of my family members uh have been through certain trauma and they in therapy, right? So he is of the age to go through therapy. He got all the excuses. So past trauma matters, Black Mall, but he too rich and too damn old to still be carrying that shit. Cause unlike our uncles and aunties, 50 can pay for therapy. He can pay for all type of stuff. People growing up in and people still we still expect our uncles and aunties to know better and to learn from their trauma. We still don't give them no type of excuses. We like, hey, you got to be better than that shit. And they don't got the money that 50 got. So he got to be held to a different standard because he got all the money and he got the money and resources to get all the help he needs. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying, Charlie X. Past trauma doesn't excuse yourself perpetuating the cycle of trauma. You worded that exactly perfectly. Past trauma, and that's so like even when we talk about our parents, certain traumas that they have went through growing up, right? Whether it be cycles of abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, that should not continue. Once you get older and you understand life, you should break that cycle at some point. Even though you have past trauma, that shit should end somewhere, right? So you could have went through all type of different trauma growing up, but you should understand the error in those ways once you get older and say it has to end somewhere at some point. So yeah, for sure. Because I've on this channel I've talked about traumas from our younger years, our grandparents and our parents' generation going through certain traumas and then passing it down to the kids, like the trauma of getting kicked out the house at 18 simply because you're 18 years old, not knowing that just because you're 18 does not mean you're prepared to handle the rigors of society financially, emotionally, mentally, all of those things, right? So just because you got put out at 18 years old does not mean you should do the same thing for your child, to your children, because you should understand that the cost of living is much higher. Everything is just different now. So that shouldn't be the standard going forth that you should set, right? No, it's not the same point that white folks made. You can go to therapy and get help, right? Because 50 is perpetuating bullshit where he don't got to do it. Hey, man. My boy, like, man, what the hell is going on? You know what I'm saying? So it's times he talk about people's kids. He talking about people's kids. That ain't no, oh, trauma just gonna have you doing it. I'm not, again, you talk about this one, I'm not gonna be understanding of your trauma. I'm gonna say your ass is grown. Your ass is grown. You should know better. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay. Hold on. My boy, like, hey, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hey, y'all gotta stop that, rap god. This point is mute to me, right? Because people go through things with their own parents, right? Black people always say this. You can go through things with your parents and your family, but you ain't giving the green light for nobody else to get out on your family like that. We gotta stop that. We gotta stop that. So people as a family can go through things with their family, and you think that gives credence for somebody else to talk crazy about your family? No, no, right? That has got to stop. That cannot be a talking point. You feel me? Come on, man. That's not no. Exactly. So if that's the case, it's okay for 50 to disrespect. It's okay for King to disrespect Marquise all day, or to disrespect whoever if he don't respect them. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Well, honestly, 50 ain't gonna care you talk about Marquise because he hate Marquise. So whatever. But family go through things, man. That don't give nobody else the green light to just, oh, it's okay to talk about my people. To talk about them because you know you had an issue. You know? Well, I don't think King apologized for disrespecting Marquise's grandmother. King apologized for disrespecting Marquise, right? But not his grandma. No, 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 no. You think 50 gonna ever mature, or he gonna be 60 still doing the same shit? He might be 60 still doing that. Cause truthfully, the people are, it's a lot of people that are okay. His fan base is okay with him acting like this. Until his fan base says, hey, 50, you gotta be better than this, he gonna keep doing it. Cause to him it's okay. If his fan base don't hold him to that standard, he not gonna care. If his own fan base don't care, he ain't tripping on none of that at all. At all. Right, exactly. He has a lot of enablers. So as long as they okay with it, he's gonna be perfectly fine with it. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait for the documentary. Which documentary? 50s or T.I.'s documentary on 50? Which documentary you can't wait for, Jay Davis? 50's documentary or when T.I. do a documentary on 50? Because I'm telling you right now, though, if T.I. don't do the documentary, if he stepped the wrong way with them white folks, oh, they gonna do a surviving 50 Cent documentary. If he make the wrong step with them white folks that just doing his that handle his business with them TV shows, it's gonna be a documentary about him in a minute. Well, Jay, 50 Cent disrespected Irv Gotti's deceased father. So is that okay when 50 disrespected Irv Gotti's deceased father? None of it is okay. But none of it is okay. But you know, hey, if he steps the wrong way with the white people that do them shows, he gotta understand a documentary could come about him as well. That's the thing I'm saying. I'm gonna get back on screen in a minute. I'm trying to handle something with my little man right quick. But I'm gonna get back on screen in a minute, y'all. Um, and I'm gonna go live in a little because I'm not gonna be on here this one. I'm not gonna be on that much longer, but I'm gonna go live again because I gotta talk about the Breakfast Club moving to Netflix and them talking about their fan base falling off after that move. But I'm gonna get to that later on. But yeah, let me see. What you watching? Y'all probably hear me in here clicking this remote. Gotta put something on the TV for my little man real quick. um, Jay Davis, I don't know what you talking about now, bro. Jay say we don't make sense. He say you don't know what you talking about. All right, I'm back on screen real quick for y'all. He said Yayo said Diddy, Jay-Z, and 50 are the top dogs in New York City. Yeah, he said that in the interview I seen with I don't know if that was on Flagrant Podcast with Andrew Schultz or not. So y'all hate 50 that much. 50 does a lot of crazy things, don't you think, Jay? He does a lot of wild stuff, man. I don't think the hate that 50 gets is unwarranted. You get what I'm saying? Because at one point, people love 50 so much, they stopped listening to Ja Rule completely to rock with 50, me included. Now, I was a kid at the time. I was a child, right? And I didn't understand, certain things because I was a kid and I was so into 50 Cent mania. But people love 50 enough at one point for 50 to completely get Ja Rule all the way up out of here. And we was just singing Ja Rule songs 3 months before 50 dropped, right? But I think at this point, people have seen how 50 get down. There's a lot of people that just don't like his ways and don't like how he conducts himself and don't like the way he treats people around him, including people who used to be around him. There's a reason why Banks has no interest in reconciling with 50, right? Banks don't try to talk like he don't try to crawl back to 50 at all. I think he's much happier being at peace, knowing that I don't got a man behind me who's willing to stab me in the back if I don't do what he wants me to do. And I think Banks is at peace knowing, hey, I done made my fan base rapping with the unit. You know what I'm saying? I done made my fan base, you know, making this great music with them. I'm cool. He got his own fan base. Banks is a stand-up in I do believe Banks is a stand-up guy. For real. And he like, I don't have to be back over there with 50 now, where if I do the wrong thing, this man will throw me to the wolves and stab me in my back at any time. You feel me? And I think Banks' integrity is that high to where like, yo, I'm cool. I'm cool on that. We tried to make G Unit come back in 2013, 2014. It didn't work then. You're gonna keep it where it's at now. He's gonna forever be grateful to 50 for putting him in that position to be, making a lot of money and getting fame and getting fans and all of that, and putting him on a big stage to show his lyrical ability. But I think at this point, Banks has no interest in getting back over there at all, right? Yeah. So, and I always feel a way about Banks. I always feel a way about how 50 did Banks, because Banks was a loyal brother to the end, to the end. And I always say this, man. Banks really gave G Unit the lyrical credibility they deserve. They needed to be solidified. Now, 50's star power was unquestionable, right? But like Banks gave them that lyrical credibility for real with how he was rapping at 21, 22, 23, 24 years old. You know what I'm saying? So like, and Banks was always loyal. He always speaks. He don't never speak down about 50 in interviews. He never trashes 50, even though 50 has trashed him endlessly, right? He speaks highly of 50, but he understands I'm cool on that. I'm not going back over there. I know what's waiting for me. The moment I go back over there, I know what will be said about me. I know how I will be treated. I'm good. I'm cool on that. Wipe my hands with it. Fine. And I can respect a man like that. You know what I'm saying? Because who wants to be talked about the moment you don't do something that your mans don't like? You do something your mans don't like or don't agree with. You know? They gonna get clowned. You gonna get talked about like to no end. Nobody want to be in a situation like that, even when you're making a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? It feel like you're in jail. Because if you misstep, according to 50, you're gonna get trashed. Look at what happened to Lil Meech. Lil Meech, he never said nothing against 50. Big Meech did something against 50. And the moment 50 found that out, he aired out that Lil Meech had a drug problem for the world to know, because he was upset. Because he was upset with how with Big Meech taking a picture with Ross, right? So he aired out the star of his own TV show, BMF, right? Because he had a problem with Big Meech. You see what I'm saying? Lil Meech was so hurt. He was talking to 50. He said, I don't understand what's going on. He said he sent a text message to 50. I don't understand what's going on. I would literally give my shirt off my back for you. I would do anything for you. I don't understand where this is coming from. My dad is his own person. My dad is his own man. Why are you talking about me like this? And 50 looked at that shit as weak. And he kept going in on that little boy. Right? That's why I said that at the end of the day, I would have said, fuck it. I'm riding with my daddy. Fuck that. I'm riding with my father. Yeah, you put me in position to make money and get on TV. But at the end of the day, if you're putting a snitch jacket, if you hey, sabbatical queen is crazy. If you're putting a snitch jacket on my dad and you're calling my dad everything under the sun, and you're galvanizing your fan base to attack my father, I cannot show loyalty to you anymore. I have to pick my father over everything, right? Yeah, anytime you text 50, he gonna make it public. All of that. That shit ain't honorable, man. You had a problem with Big Meech and you air out his son having a drug problem. You know what I'm saying? Like I will never, I can't move like that. It's been times, y'all, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I didn't have issues with men. Men didn't try to play me because they thought I was a square, right? Especially when I was younger. In my early college days, some men thought I was a square because I didn't talk loud, I didn't talk aggressive. I didn't try to wear on Chicago. I didn't try to act like what they thought stereotypical Chicago was. When I went to college, the drill movement was popping, right? So everybody thought you wasn't from Chicago unless you act like Chief Keef publicly, right? But I'm Chicago, Illinois to the bone gristle. Nobody can contest that shit, right? But it was people that tried to play little certain games with me. And I could have aired out certain stuff that they girlfriends had done with me at that point, right? In my early years, because they didn't kick it with girls that I already didn't kicked it with in a certain way in my early years. I could have aired out their old lady, right? But you know what I say? I'm gonna keep this shit with me and you, cause I ain't even cut like that. I ain't your old lady. She might have done something with me or something, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. I'm gonna keep that with. I'm not even lying, Charlie. I wish I was lying, right? One and I could have went there, but I kept it to where no, we're gonna keep it with me and you. Cause if I do that, then you're gonna be out here like cause that how you looking at the game is a cold game. It is. Then you're gonna be ready to go upside your girl head. And it probably happened it happened before you even got with her. But I don't do that though. I don't do that. And I'm talking about early in my college years. Like I'm 19, 20. You feel me? I remember this one dude tried to play with me in a certain way. He not slightly. It was a little slight. I had to let him know what time it was though. And he, you know what I'm saying? Be cool, shorty. You feel me? Be cool. And he kept it cool. But I could have said something to air it out, you know what I'm saying? His own sister. Right? I kicked it with his sister in a certain way. But I'm never gonna do that. Because my issue was with you, not with your sister. At the time, I'm like 19, 20. I'm like 20 years old at the time. He tried to be a little funny with me a little bit. All right, cool that shit down, boy. So I had to tell him, and it's not even me being tough. I had to address him in a certain way, and he kept it cool. But again, I ain't never try to pull out nothing. Oh, I kicked it with your sister. I don't even get down like that, bro. What happened if I got an issue is with you. It's with you. Because I don't do that. I don't do that. You know? So, and that's just me, who I am as a person. And I didn't say that story as a bragging point on nothing at all. So I really don't even talk about nothing like that. I'm just making a point that there was times I could have said certain things to certain men who tried to play with me in a funny type of way, but I kept it with me and them. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? I kept it with me and them. Right? So, yeah, man. You see that, man? And all that happened, you know what I'm saying, early in my college years, when I was young and, all of that. But, yeah. But I don't believe in involving other people in issues I might have with that person. So, yeah, I don't do those things, man. Because I don't think that's an honorable way to handle things. And my father taught me better than that, too. You don't got to do that. You got an issue with that man, keep it with that man. And we keep it there. 50 want to talk about your mama, your sister, your daughter, your son, all of that, you know? And I'm sorry that happened to you, Black Mall. That happened to you, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry that happened to you, for sure. That's a terrible thing. And that's another topic I wanted to discuss as well. Because things happen to young boys, growing up. Certain crazy things happen to young boys. And that's why also when I speak about the fact that I'm against uh I'm against damn, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I guess I'm sorry that happened to you. That's why I'm against trying to teach my children or my son, or if I shall have more sons, I'm against them. I don't want them having sex young. I don't. Because I know what that can lead to. Hypersexuality, to the point of them making sex their end goal with everything they got going on. I saw what happened to Lamar Odom. Him being hypersexual at such a young age caused his life to be in a big disarray. A big disarray. and I realized what happens to that, like what that can lead to. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So right, and again, that situation had you being outwardly aggressive. You know, and for me, I didn't. I was never an outwardly aggressive person at all. But I can see how that would trigger you to be outwardly aggressive, so you won't be targeted or violated in that way ever again. You know what I'm saying? For me, because I wasn't outwardly aggressive, some men think they could play with you like certain ways because they think if you ain't outwardly aggressive and you to yourself, and you know I smile a lot, so some men mistake that for softness. You know what I mean? They mistake that for weakness. And everywhere I went, for the most part, I had to show, not necessarily fight, but I had to show it's not that type of time, right? Because certain men look at certain people and try to think they're going to play with you a certain way because of what your demeanor may be. So I had to show it wasn't that type of time in a lot of places I went. But for the most part, people always show me love and respect me. You know, he has some dudes hating on the low, you know, but yeah. But no, my point is that, yeah, I want to talk about like hypersexuality that occurs amongst young black males and what triggers it and what it can lead to, you know? But we're going to get to that for sure, for sure. But look, y'all, man, I got to get off this thing. I got to go handle some business with my little man. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hit that like button. Please hit that like button before y'all leave. I'm going to get back on here in about an hour and a half to talk about something else. So I thank all of y'all for showing support and rocking out with me and coming in the comments and giving y'all 2 cents on everything. I appreciate it. I appreciate those who donated as well. If you want to donate to Charlie X, bro. I didn't even see you send me something on the Cash App till earlier today. I appreciate that. You sent it on like Thursday or something like that. Thursday or Friday or something like that. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much, man. Anybody that want to leave something on the Cash App, my Cash App is here. $ Mac Miller 5. Again, Cash App is here. $ Mac Miller 5. Thank y'all for rocking out with me and tuning in. We gonna talk about an hour and a half or so. I gotta eat and then I gotta handle some other business before I leave out for work. But I love y'all. Thank y'all, man. I saw you make a Brian most field goal video. Stop it. That don't matter. See, I'm not as what crazy as y'all think. Cause he only got more field goals really than Kareem and lesser shots really because Kareem wasn't shooting threes. You know what I'm saying? Big men didn't. It's still a great feat. Having the most field, that's a great feat to have. But I'm not gonna go crazy over there because he did it in less shots than Kareem. Truly, because Kareem was a big and he didn't shoot a lot of threes. But still a great feat to have though. But anyway, though, y'all, I'ma holler at y'all later. Machiavelli Mills TV, we out, y'all. Peace.